Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV, and from the Cairo International Book Fair in its 52nd session, we bring you today's edition of Nile Cruise. And dear viewers, themed reading is live, has 675 pavilions and 1,218 publishers, as well as foreign publishing agencies representing 25 countries from 4 different continents, which have been participating, including 7 African countries, 12 Asian countries, 5 European countries, in addition to the United States of America. Held under the auspices of President Fattah el-Sisi, it is one of the largest culture gathering in the region. The fair this year also launches the initiative Your Book, Your Culture, that aims to encourage citizens to buy books and urge them to read. Additionally, there are numerous virtual activities planned out that are executed through the electronic platform of the book fair. Amidst of all the pandemic restrictions, of course, that we are facing, of course, hurdles and challenges, the organizers restrict 100,000 visitors per day. And in this context, dear viewers, we have with us Dr. Isamil Hamid, who is a historian and African studies researcher. A very good day, sir, and it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
Good day to you, Mr. Hamid. Now, to start with, under the presidency of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, Egypt sought a new era with African countries and sought to restore its relations with African countries, of course, especially in light of the historic ties that bind the vital interest between Egypt and Africa. Culture is one of the main spheres or the main themes that bind Egypt with African countries, and since you are a specialist in African studies, culture as one of the most important factors in these relations, how do you see that?
First of all, thank you for your invitation. I'm very happy to be here on such occasion, especially also with some new books and so on. Especially all of them that they are talking about African kingdoms and so on, and also the links and ties between Egypt and Africa across a long history 5,000 years ago. We have that kind of links between Egypt and Africa, and also we have more than that, more longer, 40 million years ago, when started the Nile, and made that ties between Egypt and Africa when it appeared for the first time in history 40 million years ago. Okay, so that's very long. Also, according to the main grandfather of the Africans and Egyptians, it is the same, because Egyptians and Africans, they are of the same genealogy. Okay, the grandfather is Cush. Cush, he is the son of Ham, son of Noah. Very long time ago. Cush, he is the father of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is the grandfather of Egyptians. Okay. So we talk about very long time. Cush, he is also the father of, he is the father of the Africans. Okay, so Cush and Mitzrayim, look at the link, they are grandsons of Noah. Very long time ago, at least 40,000 years ago. So Egypt and Africa, we talk about the culture as a soft power that is connecting between both of them. Egypt is an African, but about the speciality of Egypt itself, because also the land of Egypt, we have an Asiatic part, that is Sinai. So 6% of the land of Egypt, that is Asiatic part, and 94% that is an African part. So we are pure African country with that kind of links. Egypt started to discover African coasts from the time of the 5th dynasty, Pharaonic dynasty. So nearly 2,400 BC, more than 4,500 years ago. First maritime expedition that was sent by the King Sahura, okay? That is in order to discover and explore the Red Sea and the east coast of Africa and the land of Punt, Somalia, and the Horn of Africa. That is very long time ago. Started also with the first link to make a canal between Egypt and the Red Sea to go to Africa. First canal was made by the king Sesostris. He is the king Senusert. That is from the 12th dynasty, nearly 2000 BC. Imagine that 4,000 years ago, Egypt had the link to go also to Africa by a canal, and was the first idea in order to dig a canal or a canal between the two seas, Red Sea and the Mediterranean. But it was not in direct way, like the recent canal. But it was by indirect way, a canal from the Red Sea to the Nile, and from the Nile to Mediterranean Sea. So Caesar Trees, and then the Canal of Ramses II, it was redug again, and then till the time of the king Nikau. Nikau, he is a king of the last dynasties, nearly 7th century BC. Imagine that. Egypt explored the whole coast of Africa. So sent a float of hundreds of boats. They went to the Red Sea, and then to the Horn of Africa, and then to the Eastern Africa, Mozambique and that kind, and then to the south of Africa, and then to the west, and then to Western Africa, to Morocco, and then to Gibraltar, okay, and then to the Mediterranean Sea, and then to Alexandria. It's fabulous. That was the first time to turn all Africa. It was by Egyptian floats. Okay?
Wonderful, sir. Sir, Egypt seeks to reinstate its historic role in the continent through a strategic vision. How do you see the achievements of Egypt in this aspect?
On that time?
Yes.
Sure, that, 30 years ago, of the last time of the Mubarak, it was a very dark time of that kind. And then from the time of President Sisi, that is a new era. It is entirely different, because we knew, okay, how is Africa is very important, not just for Egypt, but for the whole world. Why that? Africa, it is a virgin continent. It is the richest part of the area, of the earth. Okay, all kind of treasures, sources in Africa, gold, uranium, petrol or oil, natural gas, whatever you imagine, that is in Africa. All the other countries, they exploited everything on these countries, but Africa is still pure. Even that was exploited by the imperialism and occupation, but also still Africa has great things, okay? Egypt is a part of that, because also to the south of Egypt we have a great link between Egypt and Africa that is linking both of us. Nubia, land of Nubia, that is from Aswan to Khartoum. That is the whole land of Nubia. Nubia, that is the land of gold. Nub.
Why?
Nub, that is Egyptian word. Nub, that's gold. So Nubia, the land of gold. That Sukari, mine of gold. That is one of more than 100 gold mines in the land of Nubia. That is the richest part of gold in the world. And according to the geologists, we have more than 100 gold mines on that land, okay? That from Aswan till Khartoum. That is fabulous for the treasures and for lots of things. So Egypt is, it's a new attitude to go back to Africa strongly, okay? And to make constructions, and also with the new power of Egypt, with the new image of our country now.
Yes.
Okay, with that constructions that we have everywhere. So Egypt has a new image. Other countries, they need us. And even also at the same time, we have defies. We have challenges. Other powers that they see Egypt now, no, Egypt should be more down a little bit. If they will go by that rate, it would be very dangerous for them. Because on the next years, Egypt could be one of the biggest 10 economies of the world. So they would like to make Egypt more slower by the challenges of with Ethiopia, with the that dam over there. That is very political way. But Egypt, we are sure that's very strong, because we are back in Africa. We have constructions. We are now in Tanzania, and we built a dam on Tanzania.
Mr. Hamid, since we are talking away from politics and focusing more on culture, what do we share with our African neighbors?
We have lots of things to share, okay? We have the same origin, as I said before, that is a part. We have the same territory. We have the same Nile, okay? Nile in 11 African countries. From Congo, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Eritrea, Ethiopia, South Sudan, and then to Egypt. That is the Nile.
And do we have any similarities in terms of culture?
Sure, we have that. We have that link, because a part of Egypt that is a pure African culture. Yes, we are African, but also with the Arabs and with the mix between the ancient Egyptians, but we have pure African Egyptians, that they are the Nubians, okay? That land from Aswan to Wadi Halfa on the north of Sudan, that is a pure African part of Egypt. Okay, so it could be as a center to link between Egypt and Africa. So Egypt now started to have lots of routes and commercial roads to go to Sudan, and from Sudan to the heart. And now we have also the road of the long road between Cairo to Cape Town to South Africa. That is fabulous. You imagine that? So we talk about how many thousands of kilometers. That is, we have that direct route, okay, from Egypt and then to Sudan, South Sudan, to Central Africa, and then to Congo and Zimbabwe and Zambia, and then to South Africa.
Amazing.
It's very impressive. So Egypt, with its new attitude, would like to have that for us. Also, as a specialist of African studies and also as scholar in the African Center or African faculty, that is in Cairo University, I would like to insist for its role, because we have lots of African students that they come to study in Egypt. That is very important to attract them to come to our country and to facilitate their studies, because they will be as messengers of a new Egypt on their countries. That they have on their minds some negative figure. We would like to change that made by the occupation imperialism, that they insisted that the Arabs, they made the slaves and slavery trade over there. That would like to correct this image by that way, and also to have lots of African department on the Egyptian faculties. That is a very important part to study, and also to tell our children that these Africans, they are not our brothers, okay? So they are our neighbors, they are our friends, because we have the same destiny, okay? So culture, I think that is a soft power. It's very important for us in Africa.
Sir, what are the historic moments that mark the peak of the African-Egyptian relations?
Okay, from long time we started with that, okay? From 4,500 years ago, from the first expedition to explore the Red Sea and the Horn of Africa. And then from the time of Sesostris, Ramses II, Nikau, and then also during the Islamic time, when the Arabs, they came to Egypt and they converted to Islam, and then we started to go to the north of Africa. That is a very important link. And then to the south of Sahara, okay? And then also till the time of the 1960. That is the time of the independence of Africa. That is a great era between Egypt and Africa, on the time of Nasser. Egypt helped most of the African countries to get back their independence, okay? So I think now from that time, the image of Egypt, that is very great. You can see the square of Nasser everywhere in the African countries. We have an African leader, a very important one, the leader of Ghana, okay? He married an Egyptian woman, Nkrumah. Fathia Nkrumah, you imagine that? Nkrumah is a great image. He was a friend of Nasser, okay? And a man also is considered to be a hero of the African history. He married an Egyptian woman, Fathia, and then she became Fathia Nkrumah. So that is a very great link between Egypt and Africa. Across the history we have that also, okay? In most of the countries on the north, on the south, and so on.
Okay. To what extent did African literature affect Egyptian literature and the other way around? And to what extent did the Egyptian literature movement affect the African one?
I cannot claim that I'm very specialist of the literature, okay, because I'm a historian.
In culture and...
but it's very important. We have an image on the Egyptian movies and cinema. We need to correct that.
Yes.
Okay, that is very important, but it's a part of literature, and then to be realized and to be films and movies, okay, we need to have a new era, a new image for that, okay? That is to show our African friends, brothers, neighbors, okay, with their image as friends. We have the same destiny, okay, we have the same defies and challenges. So we need, because I think literature, it's not on the best way or on the best image for that. History, yeah, is giving us great things. Okay, literature, we need to correct that image to be on the best road.
Dr. Ismail Hamid, historian and African studies researcher. Thank you very much for being with us today
Thank
in
you.
Nile Cruise.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Dear viewers, you're still watching Nile Cruise on Nile TV International. Stay with us and don't go.